like the borders and like Afghanistan, the Biden presidency seems to be completely falling apart, and the calls for impeachment are now growing louder. Here's Senator Lindsey Graham on Rob Schmitt tonight.
I think this is dereliction of duty at the highest level, and I think Joe Biden deserves to be impeached because he's abandoned thousands of Afghans who fought with us, and he's going to abandon some American citizens because he capitulated to the Taliban 31 August deadline. If I were president of the United States, I'd told the Taliban to go to hell. We're going to stay here as long as it takes to get our people out.
Now, the impeachment talks comes as the president's poll numbers are in free fall. Check out this poll from the USA Today and Suffolk University. Just 41% of the country approving of the job President Biden is doing right now. 55% disapprove. So while America grows concerned about the lack of leadership at the White House, Joe Biden is clinging to his establishment friends in Congress, like Nancy Pelosi.
Look, I want to thank Speaker Pelosi, who was masterful in her leadership on this. I also want to thank every Democrat in the House who worked so hard over the past few weeks to reach an agreement and who supported the process for House consideration of the Jobs and Infrastructure Plan, the Build Back Better effort.
So, yeah, the House did pass a lot of legislation last night, and it's now in the hands of the Senate. And, you know, at the end of that speech, like so many other press events we've seen recently, President Biden just walked away. He's still unwilling to let us know if he knows how many Americans are still stuck in Afghanistan. The fact is that Biden's Afghanistan failures are actually endangering all the pie-in-the-sky promises that he made to the people that he needed to win the nomination. Now, despite Nancy Pelosi and the House Democrats advancing his infrastructure and social programs last night, this, again, still has to pass through the Senate. And right now, the Dems don't have the votes to do that. So the only option for Democrats is to do what? Seize more power. Cast off the rules of the Senate and end the filibuster. And that's why far-left progressives, as well as their enablers in the media, want you to believe that Afghanistan is just a big distraction. For them, the real fight is in Washington, D.C., and it's over these social welfare programs and stuff like they call voting rights. Now, how tense is it getting inside the Democratic Party? Here's Rachel Maddow expressing her frustrations with the president and the Democratic Party establishment.
If voting rights really is a top priority for this White House and for their Democratic and the White House's Democratic allies in Congress, they either get this done or they don't. And if they don't get this done, Republicans in the states will continue to put more severe restrictions on voting rights than we have seen in more than a generation.
In more than a generation? Now, this is where we remind everyone that Delaware, the president's home state, has more restrictive voting rules than Texas, Georgia, or Florida. And Rhode Island, a Democratic stronghold, still requires photo ID. So this is not Jim Crow 2.0, but go on, Ms. Maddow, tell us how 2021 is just like 1964.
We've covered this intensively. All these arrests, including members of Congress, these dignified acts of nonviolent civil disobedience by members of Congress like Joyce Beatty and Hank Johnson and Sheila Jackson Lee, all three members of Congress arrested at these very powerful, peaceful civil disobedience demonstrations.
Powerful, maybe. Peaceful, okay. Certainly more peaceful than the Selma March in 1964 when John Lewis actually got beat down, nor are these members of Congress or anyone else being subjugated to Bull Connor's police dogs or fire hoses. Now, Maddow also talked about how those Texas Democrats who've done nothing but delay the inevitable passage of the voting rights laws down there, the election integrity laws down there, which Maddow called draconian.
Where did those Texas Democrats go? They went to Washington to beg for federal help, to beg the United States Senate to act, because they can't do this on their own.
So there you go. National Democrats from Texas to Washington, D.C. and all over the place are begging Joe Biden and Democratic senators in Washington to upend our entire elections process and federalize it and get rid of the filibuster. And this is why Joe Biden, while Joe Biden is also begging the Taliban to let Americans leave Afghanistan.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.